The Invaders, 1967, wasn't just another alien invasion series. It was a paranoid Cold War allegory that ABC sabotaged by constantly changing its time slot.
I'm getting tired of paying for the stationery here in the office. Why can't I get a test?
The stars suffered a nervous breakdown from the relentless shooting schedule. The series was canceled despite strong ratings for reasons nobody understood, and the finale audiences saw resolved absolutely nothing. These are 16 facts about television's most frustrating cliffhanger, created by Larry Cohen as response to The Fugitive. Success producer Larry Cohen created The Invaders specifically to replicate the success formula of The Fugitive. Both shows featured a lone man pursued while trying to prove an incredible truth nobody believes. Cohen pitched it to ABC as The Fugitive with aliens instead of a one-armed man. ABC loved the concept and greenlit it immediately in 1966. Cohen structured each episode identically. David Vincent discovers evidence of alien infiltration, almost proves it, then the evidence is destroyed. Vincent moves to the next town, and the cycle repeats. The formula was intentionally repetitive. Cohen believed audiences wanted comfort and familiarity. However, this repetition eventually became the show's biggest weakness. Roy Thinnis worked 7 days a week and collapsed from exhaustion. Roy Thinnis starred as architect David Vincent in the most grueling television schedule imaginable. The production filmed 5 days weekly on location throughout Southern California. Thinnis then spent weekends recording voiceover narration and doing promotional appearances. He worked literally 7 days per week for months without breaks. The first season's 28 episodes were produced in 8 months. Thinnis appeared in every scene of every episode. By mid-season, he developed stress-related health problems. He lost weight, suffered insomnia, and became increasingly irritable on set. During filming of episode 19, Thinnis collapsed on location from exhaustion and dehydration. Production shut down for 3 days while Thinnis recovered. A doctor warned that continuing this pace could cause permanent health damage. The show's opening narration was rewritten 7 times before ABC approved it. The iconic opening narration, "The Invaders, alien beings from a dying planet," went through 7 different versions before ABC executives approved it. Larry Cohen's original version was longer and more explicit about the alien threat. ABC found it too scary for family viewing. Cohen revised it. ABC rejected that version as too vague. The process continued through multiple iterations. Each network note contradicted previous feedback. Cohen grew frustrated by the arbitrary changes. The final approved version emerged from a contentious meeting where Cohen threatened to quit unless ABC accepted something. The approved narration was actually Cohen's 3rd attempt, which had been rejected weeks earlier. ABC executives had simply forgotten they'd already rejected it. The opening became iconic despite, or perhaps because of, the tortured approval process. Sometimes accidental decisions work best. ABC changed the time slot 5 times in 2 seasons. ABC never settled on a consistent broadcast time for The Invaders. The series premiered Tuesday nights at 8:30 in January 1967. After 6 episodes, ABC moved it to Thursday at 9. That lasted 3 episodes before moving to Tuesday at 10. The second season started Monday at 8:30, moved to Tuesday at 10 after 5 episodes, then finished on Tuesday at 7:30. 5 different time slots in 2 seasons. Audiences couldn't find the show. Each move meant starting over building viewership. By the time people discovered the new time, ABC moved it again. The constant schedule changes made consistent ratings impossible. Loyal viewers gave up trying to follow it. TV Guide complained about the shell game ABC was playing. The network's own scheduling decisions guaranteed the show would never find a stable audience. Self-sabotage through incompetent programming decisions. The alien's glowing red death effect was created by accident in post-production. The distinctive effect showing dead aliens glowing red and disintegrating became iconic, but it originated from a technical mistake. Visual effects supervisor Howard A. Anderson was experimenting with optical printing techniques for a death scene in the pilot episode. He accidentally double-exposed film negative while applying a red filter. The resulting image showed the actor glowing bright red before fading. Anderson showed this mistake to Larry Cohen, expecting to redo it. Cohen loved the accidental effect. He decided all alien deaths would feature this red glow. The effect served a practical purpose. It eliminated bodies, preventing evidence of David Vincent's claims. Anderson refined the technique, but kept the accidental red glow as the foundation. The signature visual emerged from a debut. Sometimes the best creative decisions happen by accident. The Red Death became the series' most memorable visual element. Guest star death rate was 90% across both seasons. A disturbing pattern emerged across the Invaders' 43 episodes. Guest characters almost never survived to the credits. While not every ally died, the mortality rate for those who believed David Vincent was notoriously high. This created a bleak moral universe where helping the protagonist often felt like a death sentence. The pattern became so predictable that audiences knew any character befriending Vincent was likely living on borrowed time. Larry Cohen defended this as realism. Aliens would logically eliminate witnesses, but the repetitive tragedies gave the series an oppressive weight. Vincent's isolation was reinforced by the mounting body count of those he tried to save. The series was filmed entirely on location with no studio sets. Unlike most television series of the era which stayed confined to backlots, the Invaders prioritized extensive location shooting across Southern California to achieve a gritty, documentary realism. While the production still utilized sound stages at Samuel Goldwyn Studios for interior scenes, the sheer volume of on-the-road filming was revolutionary. The production caravan moved constantly. Hotels, warehouses, and dusty highways. This approach created an authentic atmosphere but proved logistically nightmarish. The nomadic schedule exhausted cast and crew, with Roy Thinnis spending months moving from one motel to the next. This dedication to location shooting gave the show a cinematic, big-screen look that set it apart from the flat, brightly lit sitcoms of the late 60s. Before we reveal why this series was really canceled, make sure you're subscribed. We're uncovering more sabotage television classics next time. Don't let the algorithm make you disappear like David Vincent's evidence. Hit subscribe. Back to the invasion. The alien hand deformity was inspired by real medical condition. The aliens' inability to extend their pinky fingers, the primary way David Vincent identifies them, was inspired by a real medical condition Larry Cohen read about. Dupuytren's contracture causes fingers to curl permanently into the palm. Cohen modified this for dramatic purposes, making it a species-wide alien trait. The deformed pinky became the series' most recognizable element. Actors playing aliens had to keep their pinkies bent awkwardly throughout scenes. This proved surprisingly difficult. Several guest stars struggled maintaining the hand position consistently. Continuity errors show pinkies occasionally extending normally. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed these mistakes. The hand deformity provided visual shorthand for alien identity, but created constant production challenges. Kent Smith played Edgar Scoville for only 17 episodes, but became series icon Edgar Scoville. The industrialist who believes David Vincent and organizes resistance appeared in only 17 of 43 episodes. Kent Smith joined the cast mid-second season as a recurring character, not a regular. However, Scoville's presence transformed the series completely. He gave Vincent an ally and resources. Episodes featuring Scoville felt less hopeless because Vincent wasn't alone. Audience response was overwhelmingly positive. TV Guide readers wrote letters demanding Scoville become a permanent regular. ABC considered promoting Smith to series regular for a potential third season. Scoville's limited appearances made them more impactful. Smith brought gravitas and authority that balanced Thinnes' paranoid intensity. The show was canceled, despite ranking 40th out of 140 programs. The cancellation of The Invaders remains a case study in network mismanagement. While the first season was a genuine hit, ranking in the top third of all network programs, the constant schedule changes eventually took their toll. By the time the second season faced the axe, the ratings had dipped as viewers struggled to find the show. However, the rising production costs were only part of the story. The real killer was demographics. The Invaders attracted an older male audience, while ABC was pivoting toward the younger, baby boomer market that advertisers were starting to crave. Roy Thinnes learned about the end of his crusade from a newspaper. The network never even gave him a phone call. Larry Cohen wanted to reveal government conspiracy protecting aliens. Larry Cohen's original series Bible included a shocking long-term revelation. Elements within the US government knew about the invasion and were collaborating with aliens. Cohen planned to reveal this conspiracy gradually across multiple seasons. David Vincent would discover that his enemy wasn't just aliens, but his own government. This twist would have reframed the entire series. ABC executives rejected this concept immediately. In 1967, suggesting government conspiracy was considered too controversial. The network feared political backlash. Cohen was forced to keep the government ignorant rather than complicit. He believed this narrative restriction weakened the show's potential. The series inspired The X-Files. Creator Chris Carter. Directly. Chris Carter has repeatedly cited The Invaders as primary inspiration for The X-Files, created 26 years later. Carter watched The Invaders as a child and never forgot David Vincent's lonely quest. The structure of a believer investigating paranormal phenomena while authorities dismiss him came directly from The Invaders. Carter essentially remade it with updated production values and longer narrative arcs. The similarities are obvious: lone investigator, conspiracy theories, aliens, government skepticism. Carter acknowledged his debt to Larry Cohen in multiple interviews. He called The Invaders the template for The X-Files. The influence is so direct that several X-Files episodes directly reference The Invaders. Roy Thinnes refused to discuss the series for 20 years after cancellation. The experience traumatized Roy Thinnes so severely that he refused all interviews about The Invaders for 2 decades. He wouldn't attend conventions, sign memorabilia, or acknowledge the show's existence. Thinnes felt the series had consumed 2 years of his life and destroyed his health for nothing. The abrupt cancellation with no resolution felt like betrayal. He moved on to other work and never looked back. Only in the late 1980s did Thinnes soften his stance. He began attending fan conventions and discussing the series. By then, he'd gained perspective and recognized The Invaders' cult following, but for 20 years, mentioning it to Thinnes guaranteed interview termination. The wounds from that grueling production and meaningless cancellation took decades to heal. Some experiences require distance before acceptance. The final episode was never intended as series finale. Inquisition, the final episode, broadcast March 26, 1968, was never written as a series conclusion. Larry Cohen and the writers assumed they'd be renewed for season 3. The episode ends with David Vincent on trial, his claims dismissed, walking away to continue his quest. No resolution, no victory, no closure. It's identical to 42 previous episodes. When ABC canceled the series, Inquisition accidentally became the finale. Larry Cohen was furious. He'd have written an actual ending if he'd known. The series concludes with David Vincent exactly where he started, alone, unbelieved, and continuing his impossible mission. Fans were devastated by the non-ending. For decades, they demanded closure. Alternate ending. Larry Cohen wrote a proposed television movie in 1972 that would have provided proper closure. The script revealed that David Vincent's years-long mission had secretly succeeded. His documentation reached sympathetic military officials who quietly began their own investigation. The government had been preparing defenses while appearing ignorant. The movie would show a coordinated global assault driving aliens from Earth. David Vincent would learn his evidence wasn't ignored, it was classified. He'd been working for the government unknowingly for years. The invasion would end with Vincent vindicated and humanity saved. ABC considered the movie but ultimately passed. The script exists in Cohen's papers. It was never produced. The Invaders could have been television's definitive paranoia thriller with consistent scheduling and proper conclusion. Instead, ABC sabotaged it with constant time changes, canceled it despite good ratings, and left the story permanently unresolved. The real ending was never filmed. Roy Thinnis nearly died from exhaustion, and David Vincent searches still. Some invasions are never defeated,